So we got a little bit of news to talk about today. The news has been light, but today we got a little bit more. So let's get into it. Dragonflight Season 1 DPS rankings. Now, I don't go through these. This is week 10. I don't go through these every single week. But I figured now might be a good time, considering we are now at week 10, to just check out and see what's going on with the DPS charts. So here they are. Overall damage. Let's see where everyone's at. Man, Rogue. Look at the first thing I noticed when I opened this. I don't know if you guys remember when we opened this up during Dragonflight, when Dragonflight first started. The 3 Rogue specs were like at the very top. It was wild. But here we are, Shadow Priest. Now the big boy on top. Look at that, Shadow Priest getting the love, followed by Arms Warrior, and then Devastation Evoker. I have to say one thing about Evokers. I feel like Evokers have been the least OP hero class to be added to the game. Now, I'm not saying they're not a great class, but I remember when Death Knights got added to the game, even when Demon Hunters got added to the game, as far as hero classes go, those were so overpowered and ridiculous when they first got launched that they almost broke the game. I mean, I remember there were Death Knights. We had full 5-man parties of Death Knights just going in and clearing dungeons. And then Demon Hunters were pulling numbers that were so ridiculous in the beginning that you had everybody and their grandmother making a Demon Hunter. Evokers have been kind of like meh. You know, like put an Evoker in the right hands and they're pumping huge numbers. But otherwise, they've been really like mid-tier to mid-upper numbers. It hasn't been like game-breaking shit like we've seen from other hero classes in the past. So, now whether or not Evoker is considered a hero class or not, you know, you can't really compare it, I guess, then to Demon Hunters or Death Knights. But I'm just saying, as far as classes being added into the game, they haven't really been broken in any way. But here they are, Devastation Evoker at 3, Frost DK at 4, and then finally we see the Rogues again at 5, and then we got Warriors are in a good spot in terms of DPS. Fire Mage finally cracked into the top 10 there. And then we got Marksman Hunter, Havoc Demon Hunter. The fact that it's a tanking class and it's sitting up there. Or not Havoc, sorry. That's not the tanking version. But the Havoc Demon Hunter is up here. That's great. Yeah, Outlaw Rogue, Retribution Paladin. Paladin's getting a ton of changes coming their way very soon in the next patch. 10.0.7 is going to see like a complete Paladin revamp. So we'll see where Ret ends up after that, and then Windwalker Monk. Look at the bottom, though. Warlocks are having a tough time. You don't see the first Warlock spec until bottom half of the chart. That's killer, man. Also, Enhancement Shaman was doing really good for a while. So was Elemental, but they're now down back here. And then Arcane Mage is in a shit spot. I mean, overall, I think Mage and Warlock are kind of hurting unless you're playing Fire. Very interesting. Evokers are pumpy boys. Pyre's uncapped. Really. Like I said, put an Evoker in the right hands and it looks good, but I feel like most Evokers are kind of just sitting in the middle. That's overall damage. Let's see damage to bosses. We see Beast Mastery Hunter. I've been seeing tons of Beast Mastery Hunters in our raids lately. I mean, they have been popping off in terms of numbers. I've seen Beast Mastery Hunters pulling over 100k DPS, which is insane. And then Unholy Death Knight. Affliction Warlock, great for boss damage. Shitty in terms of other damage, so I mean, you take it with a grain of salt. If you're single targeting, Affliction Warlocks are great. Otherwise, not so good, probably Mythic Plus and stuff. And then Survival Hunter, Assassinated Rogue, and then see, look at single target. Frost, Fire, and Arcane are all up here. So there's a tale of two halves here with the Warlocks and Mages. We see that things like Mythic Plus, unless you're playing Fire Mage, it's hurting a little bit. But then single target damage, I mean, these guys are pumping now. Holy crap. All 3 mage specs up there in the top 10. That's crazy. Arms Warrior, Frost DK, Destro, Warlock. Again, Warlock's up here. The Affliction is the number 1 spec right now. Windwalker Monk's not in a very good spot right now. And neither is Havoc Demon Hunter in terms of single target damage. But they are great for a multi-target. That's what I've seen in the Broodkeeper pulls. They're pulling decent numbers in that. I'm stuck at work for a little bit, Sam, then I'll be joined. No problem, no problem. Good morning. Good morning, Danny. How's it going? Evokers are pumpy boys. Yeah, well, yeah, my unicorn ass holding the number 4 spot. There you go. There you go. So, not much else to talk about. I mean, there's no real big... Frost DK is a big mover. But otherwise, I feel like everyone's pretty stable. Outlaw Rogue's been dropping. Ret's been dropping like a fucking hammer. But again, they're getting major changes coming their way in the next patch. Interesting numbers, and again, a lot of times, man, it goes back to skill.